What's up, fam? Welcome back to Joint Minds. Today, John and I, we're going to be discussing the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, our thoughts on how the trial went. We're going to give a brief breakdown for those of you who don't know the situation, but we're going to give our thoughts on how the trial went, whether or not this is in terms of the law, if this is morally correct, is this about race. We're going to be answering a lot of questions and clearing up a lot of misinformation out there. So if you guys enjoy the video, make sure to like and leave a comment. Let us know your thoughts. And while you're down there, make sure you guys subscribe. And don't forget to tap the bell icon so you can stay up to date on all of our videos.
And stay tuned till the end of the video where we invite you to join our new political party.
Yeah, that's right.
So, to get into it, we got to find out what brought Kyle Rittenhouse to Kenosha, Wisconsin. And if you look into it a little bit, you'll see that there was a militia group essentially posting on Facebook asking for people to come out and protect businesses out there. Not the businesses themselves, actually asking Kyle and the other militiamen out there to help protect the businesses. So Kyle drives out of state to another state to go protect businesses with an AR-15. Then after that, they encounter the police and have an encounter with some of the protesters there over a dumpster that they were trying to light on fire. So you can kind of see that there was a whole bunch of tension between the militiamen and the protesters, and you can also see an obvious unequal treatment between the protesters and the militiamen protecting businesses. Now we fast forward a little bit later on in the night. You'll see that Kyle Rittenhouse had left the militiaman group to go help people, even though the head of the militiaman group had specifically told Kyle Rittenhouse and a lot of other people there to not leave, not go out, because that was dangerous and it could cause problems just because of obviously they're carrying guns. So why wouldn't people feel a little uneasy and unsafe around people carrying AR-15s that are kind of used to kill people in war? You have Kyle going out, not following his orders, even though he's going out of state lines for some apparent reason. Then you get to Joseph Rosenbaum, the first person that was killed in the situation. Earlier in the night, he had gotten into a dispute with other armed militiamen, but Kyle wasn't in the vicinity when that happened. You can see Joseph Rosenbaum acting erratic and aggressive towards them, hurling racial slurs towards them. A few minutes afterwards, you see footage of Joseph Rosenbaum chasing Kyle Rittenhouse. Kyle Rittenhouse then hears a gunshot behind him and turns around to see Joseph Rosenbaum basically about to strike him down, because he's been attacking. He had thrown bags and other things at him to scare him, and when Kyle hears the gunshot, he turns around and thinks he's going to be attacked or shot at. Rosenbaum. Then after that, Kyle sticks around for a few minutes to make sure he's okay. I mean, he just shot him, but obviously the guy.
Make sure he's okay. His ass was.
Yeah, but I mean, he didn't just flee the scene immediately. He tried to see what he could do to help the situation, but
once
also,
he saw he was dead, he was like, "Oh fuck this!"
Yeah, he runs away after he sees he's dead. But you can kind of tell that Kyle wasn't just out there to just mow people down. And then afterwards, he's being chased by a mob, and you can see he trips and falls and starts getting beaten by the second person to get killed in the event, Anthony Huber, who's beating him with a skateboard. And then after he kind of gets into position, he shoots him once, and it hits him right in the chest, and he ends up passing later on that night. And then the last person to get shot in the incident, Gage. I can't really know how to say his last name, so I'm not even going to try to attempt it. Pulls up to him, and then he tries to go up to him. Kyle pulls the gun towards him, holding. Gage pulls up his hands to cover himself, and Kyle does not shoot. But then Gage decides to pull out a gun to try to stop the situation, and then Kyle takes his final shot, and then from there Kyle turns himself in. The rest of the crowd tries to help the people that were shot. And the kind of everything else that happens in the night afterwards isn't really relevant. I'm sorry. There is one more relevant piece of information. Kyle had tried to go turn himself in, but the cops were actually not even paying him any attention, and he wasn't actually arrested till the day after. Now, with that being said, this kind of brings into question the whole decision in the trial. When you look at the accounts of things that happened in the night, in my personal opinion, I think it was a huge tragedy. I think that the ruling was going to end up going that way, but it's not like there's no way you can really, without reasonable doubt, accuse this guy of going out there to kill those 3 people.
Ultimately, I think when you guys look at a court case like this, you really don't. The first thing you have to do is not look at it from a moral standpoint, because I hate to say it, the law goes above morals. Even though the laws are supposed to be moral, they will uphold the law versus give a sentence based on justice. So when you look at it like that, you have to first look at how the justice system operates. And in a case like this, the justice system operates that they have to find 100% proof that he attacked those people and wasn't acting in any self-defense. If they can have any reasonable doubt that he was acting in self-defense, then they have to say that he was not guilty. It doesn't mean that the jury doesn't think that he shouldn't be in jail. It's just he is not guilty for the crime of first-degree murder or whatever the charges were, or reckless homicide. Because they just have to get that doubt that it could have been self-defense. And that's really why so many cases in history will go down like this, is because all the defendants lawyers need to do is just place that doubt. It just takes just a little bit, and then you have an entire case right there, and it falls off. So even if Kyle Rittenhouse doesn't get the sentence that everybody wants, it's not due to he didn't kill those people. It's due to that's just how the law works. That's how the justice system works. And should, first of all, the justice system sucks in my opinion. Should it be overhauled? Yeah. But that's the first thing that needs to happen before there can be any kind of actual justice going further for any kind of future cases like this.
It's figure out a proper solution to this whole situation, because should Kyle Rittenhouse have been there? No, he should not have been there. But at the same time, he was being attacked, and when you go back to the events that happened, he was being chased by somebody who was already acting erratic and throwing things at him. Then he hears a gunshot and immediately turns around to see Joseph Rosenbaum just sprinting at him. You can understand that, why he did what he did. But the reasons for him being there, being armed to the teeth like that, that's some things that are just not acceptable. Why are you there when the whole point is that you're allowed to peacefully protest? Why are you there with bearing arms? It's not like the police were out there literally killing. Oh wait, no, they were. That's why people were bearing guns. Yeah. Maybe
it's because But the thing is the police are the ones who are killing people. But they want to kill the people who are destroying property instead.
No, I know, yeah.
So property is more valuable than people's lives
exactly.
to these people.
So why are you bearing arms at peaceful protesters and not at the police? Now, I'm not condoning violence towards the police. Don't do that. Don't go out there and start trying to shoot up your police officers. We need them. They're an important part of our society if they do their job properly. Now that comes into the discussion of, what is this a racial issue because of how the justice system treats people based off of the color of their skin. Now we all know the whole reason why people are trying to bring this to a race issue is because if Kyle Rittenhouse was a person of color, he probably would not have made it out alive that night.
No.
And that can be seen by the whole reason why those protests were happening was because I believe James Blake or Booth, I don't know
I believe it was Booth.
It was an African American man who had ended up getting shot in the back
7 times.
7 times because he had a knife, and obviously somebody has a knife, he gets. As a police officer, you have to defend yourself and try to figure a way to solve the situation. But that guy had a knife, didn't kill anybody. And then we have a man that did kill 3 people.
It's just bro, I've been attacked with a knife and I've disarmed them, and I'm not a trained police officer. Come on.
Yes, but
these people should be better trained. That's the thing. Is police officers are not well trained enough. You know what I mean? That's why they always resort to
that gets into that gets into a whole different discussion. But you gotta more what we're talking about is how the police reacted to the situation.
Yeah, so that comes down to training. They're not trained like well enough to like react to a situation like that. They go through like 6 weeks of training.
Okay.
Dude, it takes more time to become a hairstylist than it does to become a police officer.
Now, when it comes to the events that happened in the court case and how it was ruled, again, this is not a race issue. When you look, like we were saying earlier, you have to prove beyond reasonable doubt that this wasn't self-defense. Now, when you go into the court case and you also look at how things were handled with the prosecution, you can also see that they fumbled a huge part of the information with how they were transferring information to Kyle's defense team. I think they had sent a file that was altered and had missing data in it to the Kyle Rittenhouse defendants all the way up until I think a few days before the trial was supposed to begin, and supposedly that footage was lost since the time of the event that it happened. So that was kind of really suspicious on the prosecution standpoint. But then you can also kind of see the judge also jumping to Kyle's defense too, like with the way that they were trying to talk to Kyle in the trial itself, which was kind of like why is there already a bias towards Kyle, even though this is a court case, everyone should be treated equally there. Why should he not be addressed the way he's supposed to be addressed?
I think ultimately, like, the real race issue comes down to, like, the justice system itself and not this specific court case, you know? If it was a person of color on trial, the trial would have gone much differently. Like,
well, if he was a person of color, he wouldn't even got a trial.
Yeah, I was going to say, if it was a person of color, he wouldn't have gotten a trial in the first place, you know? Like, he wouldn't have made it past that first block he was running past, you know? All those people armed to the teeth would have bah, 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 like 14 times each, you know? They all would have made sure to empty all of their clips.
And just to even go to show, like, that our justice system is really screwed up, you can see footage of policemen throwing water bottles and like telling like good job to the militiamen that were out past curfew, and then the other protesters who were peacefully protesting, because the police like to say we didn't arrest anybody else peacefully protesting, but you can see footage of peaceful protesters being told to go home against curfew while
being tackled,
attacked,
pepper sprayed,
the whole 9 yards. Whereas the militiamen, they're like, oh, you're defending this business, good on you. Like, no, you treat them
not
equally.
telling them to go home.
Yeah,
didn't tell them to leave.
Because like
didn't tell them they were breaking curfew.
If you want them to go home, you need to set the example. Be like, listen, nobody's an exception here. So it just goes to show, like, hey, like.
Not only that, guys, like, look at where the trial took place, Wisconsin. What do you think they're gonna say about this situation? You know what I just find like so like crazy about like the whole right to like bear arms thing?
What's that?
It's just like, you're really telling people it's okay for them to stand in front of their business with a gun and then point it at people's face and say, don't touch my property, and say that you're not inciting violence. With a fully loaded gun.
Well, that's the thing though, that the whole purpose of the right to bear arms is not for you to bear it against your fellow man. It's to protect yourself from the government, from a tyrannical government. That's the whole reason why it was put into the Constitution.
The right to bear arms wasn't for the right for you to kill like any person like who comes and like messes with you or has a different opinion. It was to actually defend yourself and to be able to create an uprising against a government that was suppressing its people.
The whole reason, like, they should have been pointing the guns at the cops that were shooting the George Floyd, James Booth. Okay, maybe he had a knife, so there's controversy. You can talk about that, but come on, dude. George Floyd was not fighting back or putting them in danger.
Right. It's just, yeah, I don't know. That's why I don't agree with, like, the whole situation of, like, oh, they have the right to defend, like, those businesses. First of all, it's not their business. They weren't asked to by the business owners. They came off of a fucking Facebook post. And you're telling me that it's not inciting violence to just stand out in the open with an AR-15 and threaten people that you'll shoot them? How is that not inciting violence? If I stood outside of your home with a gun and said, if you get within 6 feet of me, because in some states that's your stand your ground law, like in Florida, if you get within 6 feet of me, I'll shoot you. How is that not inciting violence? Just because the law says it's okay. Just because the law says it's okay doesn't mean it's actually okay. You know, the law used to allow slavery, right? Everyone who says, "Oh, uphold the law," you know the laws used to include slavery. I'm sure you're including that though too.
The whole point was to defend yourselves from the government. Now you're trying to defend yourselves from each other. That's how, when you have a divided country.
That's how you get ruled by the government, bro.
Yeah, that's...
It's like when they, like, divide us and make us fight each other.
Exactly, like, we should...
Like, everyone needs to, like, just shut the fuck up, learn to, like, you don't have the same opinion as everybody else, and that's okay.
It's okay to be
it's okay.
different.
Just don't go around threatening, like, people. Like, don't go around, you shouldn't burn and loot buildings either. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you shouldn't be damaging other people's properties, and you shouldn't be threatening
they should be
your fellow man.
You shouldn't be damaging mom and pop businesses. You should be damaging government property because that's what you're protesting.
This is a thing that a great man once said. We are the people party. We are the human party. You know who that is?
Who?
That's your Uncle Paul.
Yeah, right, dude. That's right. We are the people party.
We are the people party. We're human. We
know
are not
funny?
white. We are not black. We are not Arab. We are people.
I just registered a new driver's license, and I had to re-register to vote on it, and I put the human party in there.
Nice, dude. Next time I register, I'm going to do that too.
So, make sure you guys register for the human party. If you guys like this video, make sure you guys like and subscribe. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Was this a fair trial? Did you guys expect this outcome? Should Kyle still have been put in jail because of just moral reasons? Should morality be over the law? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. We'll see you guys next time.
Peace.